Hey, welcome to Biz Talk TV. I'm your host and guide, Michael Rager. As you can see by the sign behind me, it's time for Purple Politics. We got Alina Gonzalez. Alina, how are you today?
I am fabulous, Michael. Always thrilled to be here with you.
All right, so we were talking a little bit off camera before I got there. You got a cool wave going on there in Florida. It was like only 87 this morning.
Yeah, we're down to a beautiful 87 degrees at 7 something in this morning, thanks to the thunderstorm. So I am
There.
welcoming every single drop of rain at this point.
All right, so speaking of thunderstorms, you wanted to start with the interesting topic today. So come on and launch it.
Okay. So I try to be positive and I want to empower and awaken our viewers and more importantly, our population. Because what is happening in the Capitol is outrageous and disruptive to our own nation's security. And I am talking about Senator Tuberman, the former coach to Auburn, who is now senator. He is a perfect example of why ideological beliefs, when throwing a tantrum, can be very disruptive. He is currently withholding his vote on promotions in the military for generals to move up in ranks because the Department of Defense have started a policy that if a female military member who makes up females make up 20% of our military wish to have some sort of reproductive procedures that are not offered within the state that they are stationed, that they will provide free transportation to a state that does. This could be abortion. This could be in vitro fertilization. It could be a necessary DNC that a doctor won't allow in a state. So because it is against the current extreme Republican view that everything must be pro-life, that there should be no abortion, even though the Supreme Court has stated that it is in the individual states' rights. This one senator is holding up the promotions of generals. For the first time in 100 years, our Marine Corps does not have a chief. I mean, Mike, can you imagine one person is now
Right.
causing issues for our security?
Well, that's what we're getting to right now, and I know one of the things we're sitting here talking about purple politics is we got ideologies on both sides of the aisle that are just getting so extreme, and these things are holding things up. So what does this mean? I mean, really, what happens but for us not having the chiefs of staff that we need in place?
Well, first of all, it's not just a fact that, oh, there's an open slot. Yes, the deputies are filling in those roles, but because they are stalling out, literally, stalling the promotions, it prevents other people from moving up. So, what common sense does this make? So, we have one person objecting to the promotions, which prevents people who have worked dutifully for the service to our country and our protection from being able to be promoted in a job. So, this is going to affect our Joint Chiefs of Staff because in October that term ends. And then what incentive does someone have to continue to stay on past the initial 4 years, 8 years, to become a lifetime military member so that there is no advancement or that they can be basically stalled out? This also affects pay grades, benefits. I mean, it is a ripple effect. It's not just, oh, we're going to hold off and not have a general in chief, but we'll have a deputy.
Well, how do we
There's
get
much
to the
more.
point? Let me ask you this: how do we get to the point that one controversial person, Coach Tuberville, here's a guy that was a football. He was a football coach. I mean,
Mhm.
he launched his political career because he was a positive. He's an influential football coach. We're seeing this around all the time now. But how have we gotten to the point that one person has so much power that they can hold this up?
In the Senate, this is one of the jobs of the Senate is
Mm-hmm.
to approve the promotions of generals. So, and it takes a unanimous Senate. to approve the promotion. So if one wants to hold out, that stops everything. And that is what is happening. And this goes back to the reality is that we need common sense leadership. We need leadership that can say, yes, I am pro-life. I don't believe that the access to abortion should be readily available. However, this is our military. This is our nation's security. This is the basis of our power. Maybe it's time to set aside those ideological strong wishes and say, okay, what is in the better for our United States of America?
Well, I think that's what you got right there. It's we're seeing politicians right now that they're not looking at what's better for the United States of America. They're looking to go ahead and to satisfy the ideologies of their party, whichever
Mhm.
way they are. It's party politics. It's not partisan politics anymore. And I think a little bit as we discussed last time we talked, is people get elected and they forget that they represent the whole district, the whole state, the whole whatever, and not everybody believes that. And they have to do what's right for everybody, not just the party. And how do we get around that?
I think that's where you're starting to see like movements occurring. So you had the no labels movement. I'm not going to call them a party, but there's a no labels movement. And no labels movement, their pact with the American people is that they are pushing forward for a common sense ballots, for common sense um, representatives for the Americas, because the no labels, which is one of the co-chairs or honorary co-chairs of Senator Manchin, is saying that we need to strip ourselves away from the D and the R ideological power and look at what is in the best for everyone. You also had the forward movement that was briefly talked about, but hasn't really gained much momentum. And I really think that the no labels is gaining some momentum in that at least you have people talking about it. You do have influential government personnel speaking for it. And again, it's like what we talked about last week. I mean, we currently have a political party, the Democrats, that have AOC, who is a progressive, with Manchin, who is a moderate. We have in the Republican Party, in the same party, Mitt Romney, he's always been a moderate Republican, with someone like this current senator, who is ultra right, you know, ideologically probably beyond the Tea Party. And
Well,
I think that's where, again, where the awakening needs to happen because we, the people, are the ones who are electing these people and they have to represent the whole, not just the part.
well, this is something because we've only got about another minute left. I think we need to bring up in the next show because why are they influenced that way? And I think we know it. It's because of money and lobbyists.
You hit the nail
You
on the
know,
head. I almost went,
the
show
no
me the
labels
money.
don't
I
have
mean,
money behind them, and that's where we need to go. And that's where we need to be looking at. So if people want to hear more about this with you, Alina, how do they follow you? How do they hear about it? And how do they get a hold of you?
well, I am on Facebook, Alina Gonzalez-Dockery, very long name, but it's down there. Also, you have my I know I'm a hyphenated lady. What can I say? Also, Alina at lifelawplanning.com. And once I get some things settled up, then we'll have even more purple politics and it'll be easier to find me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think we just need to keep going on this because this is something that people need to hear about. They need to start looking at because no matter which party we represent, is we're getting so polarized and we're forgetting about the good of everything. And both sides, we got to get back to it. And that's what it's all about.
See, you summed it up perfectly, Mike.
Shh, don't tell anybody. I come up with a good idea and a good statement once a day. So hopefully, it just happened to be in your segment. So I'm looking forward to our next segment. So Alina, you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. I'm Michael Rager on Biz Talk TV. We're going to be back with more right after this.